Hello everyone. So this is our new house. It is very well done as far as the actual house on the outside and the interior, except the bottom has a few things that we'll need to do, like the laundry room and everything. So it has potential for growth. This is the hated grass that in a few years eventually I will change, but my husband and I will have to have that battle. We have sprinklers already in this area, so it's very nice as far as not having to do anything really to maintain this wasted arable ground that should be for food production or native plants for animals and bugs. These are a couple, actually 3 solid rows of Sharon. They're actually a hibiscus, but they're called a rose of Sharon. You can see that they're starting to wilt with the cold. It's gotten to freezing and a little bit lower. You can see they were trying to bud out again. It stayed so warm until it just finally did get cold. These are the aspens that I was mentioning to class earlier. They're beautiful. We really would prefer a break on the west side, but if these were silver birch instead of aspen, we'd love to leave them. However, you can see here's a really good sapling. Here's all of these. These are all saplings growing up from the same root. They literally come through the entire yard, and we have to stop this. Over here, you can see where there was damage when the water main broke, and all of this got washed out. You can see where there used to be soil. They had to come in and fix the water main. So we've got to get these aspens taken care of, or they're going to continue to cause us problems. Now, the first thing that I've gotten to do as far as what we do in LeskoHelp is really exciting to me. And I got all of these wood chips for free. Give you an idea of how big this pile really is. It is huge. It's bigger than my car. Of course, I have a kind of small car, but it is huge. And I get to have all of these wood chips for free. Not only does it provide the mulch to allow better water retention, it will also break down. There's not only the traditional wood chips that you would get in a manicured bark that you'd buy at like Lowe's or Home Depot. There is a ton of loose material, leaves, and they're called needles when they're on like a conifer, a spruce, or a juniper. There's some juniper there. And all of that is going to break down and become healthier soil, because this is what our side yard looks like. It does have the weeds, so it's not dead soil. Weeds are actually nature's band-aids. We call them weeds. These are probably actually indigenous plants, so we're using the term wrong. Weeds are actually invasive plants that don't belong in an area. But whether it's invasive or a native plant, when the plants come in that we call weeds, they heal the soil. This soil isn't ready to hold like a tomato or a maple tree or an apple tree or strawberries, because it's been depleted and got probably fill dirt from when they built the houses, and it's just been not maintained for years. They had a storm that came in. The Great Salt Lake is over this direction, and they had a huge windstorm that picked up all kinds of salt from the Great Lake and distributed it out. And as we've talked about, salt is bad for plants. It's actually a natural method of controlling plants you don't want on your property very, very carefully. Salt will kill even the soil. Salt is very powerful, and we have to be very careful when we're using it. But these weeds have come in and tried to start healing the soil from when that salt storm took place. And I guess there was also a grasshopper infestation that took every living thing that was still left after the salt storm and ate it. So we have this just almost dead soil here. Now I'm gonna bring all these wood chips out all through the side yard, push them all back to, you can see it a little bit back here, there's a fence, and then we'll go into the backyard. Now let's see if we can go shove our way into the backyard. If I I have time before the snow comes, I'm going to take all of this soil and put it over in my compost heap, because this soil has been depleted by the plants that grew over the year or two that they were in the pot. And so this soil has almost no nutrients in it, and it'll get regenerated when we put it into the compost heap. Now, this is not a lot of fun. We have to fix this. This is actually supposed to come out. I can normally squeeze in. Let's see if Amber can squeeze in with me. Ready? Here we go. Can you squeeze like that? Yeah. Okay. So that's the fun.
What about the dog?
Part. She'll come.
I got it.
With a new property, you've got to fix the parts that are broken. Come on, Rox. Come on, baby. And so what we're going to do, this is the trash pile that we were left with from the previous owners. We'll wait until in the spring when the city's doing a cleanup, and we'll get rid of all of this trash, not the sticks and things. We'll use those, the dead trees, but the door, the old wood, the yucky, rotting chase lounges they left for us, the old stairs that they didn't handle. This will all be gotten rid of for free. We won't have to pay for any of that. And then down here, this is supposed to move forward, but they've allowed the dirt to fill to where it can't move. So this weekend, my husband and I, mostly my husband, I'm so lucky, he's gonna come in and dig out an area here. So hopefully this can get pushed out so that I can bring all those wood chips back and start healing the soil that's back here. And that's where it's going to be that the Natural Resources Conservation Service Center comes in. My father owns a small bobcat, or oh goodness, I can never remember what they're called. The scooping sort of machinery, right? Backhoe. There we go, a small backhoe. And so what I'm going to do, this is already naturally lower. You can see the small hill right here, and then you can see the retaining wall that's still in just excellent shape right there, and it all goes lower down. I want to introduce a small sunken garden from this area about right here in a little bit like a triangle to follow the natural formation, and we'll go down at least 4 feet. With that bobcat, there are no lines back here at all. We don't have to worry about it. We have to call still and get the people to come by and put up their flags and have a proper work order. That's something that you have to pay attention when you're working, especially in a town. County, they're a little bit more lax about it, but really you're still supposed to call. It just keeps everybody safe. It used to be 1-800 before you dig, but now just get into your state's before you dig website and get the lines marked. And then if your project continues past the date that they've set, you just get an extension so that you can keep working on your property. And so we'll dig out that sunken garden, the middle point going to about 4 feet, and then it's going to be terraced like this as it comes up out of the ground. That will do many things. That's going to be a natural reservoir for the soil. It's not going to create really a little pond or anything. We're not wet enough here, but it will retain the water much better than just this flat, especially unmulched property would. But it will go much beyond what mulching alone would do. And then by digging down in and creating a terracing, we're actually increasing the amount of arable space that we have for plants. Now, along with that sunken garden, there's going to be, I'm making modified swales. Swales are quite large. They're usually on very big properties, but I want to show how the same ideology can be used on a regular residential lot. And a swale is like almost like a wave in the ground. You create a higher point called a berm, and then you dig lower down, and both of them will retain more water. The little hill or berm that you create and that dig down dip or ditch that you create, and you come back up with another berm. I'm also going to be introducing something called Hugel Kultur into those berms. What Hugel Kultur is a methodology created by a man, I believe in Switzerland, or no, it was Sweden, excuse me, I believe in Sweden, one of the Norwegian countries. And he takes and builds a little, basically a similar type of a berm with things like all of this dead tree filler, dead trees, branches, leaves, composting, soil, especially if you need to regenerate soil. All of that will absorb water even better than just the berm itself. The logs and things that you put in there, they will absorb even more water than the soil in the berm alone could, and they'll create a natural sponge. And you can see how arid and dry we are here. It's very clear in my backyard that this is definitely in a desert, okay? And all of that will create a natural form of water retention. We're going to have little pygmy goats to about right here, going all the way at the front. And then here, there will be all of these berms with little miniature dips. We'll only go to about 1 foot or 2 for the little dips. And that'll be throughout all of this area here and this area here with, I say chickens, with quails here and quails here, and possibly some Angora rabbits along the south-facing wall here in the back. So this is obviously another dead tree. We're not going to remove it. Birds actually really like dead trees. They make nests in them, usually larger birds, more the predatory birds. So I don't know that we'll have any of that here with this smaller tree in this residential area. But animals and birds, bugs, they do like the dead trees that are left standing. It's healthy for the ecosystem. And as you can see, this volunteer mulberry is surrounding this dead tree. It's literally going to eat and absorb all of the decomposing roots that were the lifeblood of this tree. And it's just a continuation of the life cycle. You'll also see over here, I have a volunteer sandberry. They tried to kill it. You can tell the previous owners. Luckily for us, they were unsuccessful. I don't know that this one will come back. I think this one might be dead, and my puppy has claimed it as her permanent chew toy. Over here, I'm going to leave the retaining wall. We'll build the Hugel Kultur style berms along the back wall. This is going to be continuously the compost heap. I had to clean up a lot of dog waste and plastic trash, all kinds of junk. We're right here at the end where all kinds of trash just blows in. So we're continuously having to clean up trash that blows in from outside of the neighborhood here. But this area was clean from dog waste and the trash. And so we've already got our compost heap started there. I'll be adding the brown material, which is the wood chips, here in the next several days. It's primarily green materials right now with the vegetables and the fruits and some coconut flour that had expired, some things like that. That will be covered over by the wood chips, which will provide both the brown and the green material needed to make a healthy compost pile. All for free. Brand new healthy soil to help regenerate this area here that's been so depleted. You can see where some of the dead trees were likely pulled out, the dips in the soil. The last little bit here is the boxwood trees that I showed in class earlier. I've already got some purchased mulch and soil because they were doing so badly. You can see now where I've got it all cleaned up. There's no dead leaves or detritus. You can get all the way down to the very bottom of the crook of the tree. My husband and I need to come in and trim all of this off with his Sawzall, but we're just so busy getting caught up everywhere. We haven't managed cut off about that much of the bush, and that will hopefully help to regenerate it and save its life. There's a few other pieces that were here that they didn't maintain very well, but they're still surviving. Blackberry vines. I was so excited to discover this entire run is a blackberry vine. These are strawberries that I brought, and then a couple of rose bushes. And so again, all these aspen have to be girdled. Excuse me, it'll literally take 5 to 6 years for them to die after we girdle them, fully for them to die out above the girdling. And then of course we'll have to continue to do more to try to get down into the aspen root system that's in the soil and very dominant in that soil in the front yard. And so all of these projects, even my father bringing up his bobcat, I should be able to get at least up to 75% reimbursement from the Natural Resources Conservation Service Center as long as I follow their guidelines. And so I'm hoping that I will get to meet with the woman that is my contact for that service center in the next week or so. Hopefully she'll help me say her name. It's beautiful. I believe it's one of the tribes, a native name, and I just can't pronounce it. But she'll come, look this over, hear about what I want to do, tell me what she needs from me in order to fit the guidelines of her organization. I go through, I follow through, put in all the work, pay for it up front. Sometimes you even have to take out a loan to pay for it. They reimburse you, and then you can even pay back most of, if not all of the loan, and that helps build your business credit. So these are the things that I'm working on currently here in just this little residential property. I hope you all enjoyed walking through with me, and I will see you in class.